Based on the only fictional novel published by the notorious gonzo journalist Hunter S. Thompson, but inspired very much by his own crazy experiences, the Rum Diary focuses, literally, on the booze-fueled adventures of an idealistic American writer in Puerto Rico during the early 60s. Adapting the already off-kilter source material, Bruce Robinson, director of cult British classic With Nail and I, has teamed up with Johnny Depp to bring Thompson's story to the big screen.
Very good. It's even better today, yeah.
For fans of ever so slightly bizarre movie craziness, it could be a three-way match made in heaven. I sat down with Johnny Depp to talk about the movie. Johnny Depp, hello, how are you?
I'm fine, man. I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Great stuff. First of all, this is kind of like, for me, it's a film that you need to see. It's like, it's an experience, this movie. It's kind of difficult to describe in words.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the only thing I can come up with really is it's the kind of perfect marriage between Bruce Robinson, you know, i.e. With Nail and I, and the great Dr. Hunter S. Thompson, you know. It's the perfect marriage of those voices together.
Sorry. I didn't realize anyone was there. I thought it was just floating.
It is just floating.
Are you doing what I'm doing?
I don't think so. What are you doing?
Escaping a dreadful party.
I thought maybe you were a mermaid. They tell me the coast is infested with them.
I'm from Connecticut. My boyfriend's making a speech. Takes exactly 21 minutes.
Well, then I guess it's pointless me inviting you for a drink.
What you got?
No, I mean at the bar.
Pointless. I'd better go before they wonder where I went.
Wait a minute, what's your name?
Let's keep that a secret.
Well, I don't even know it.
Well, then you'll keep it even better.
There's Hunter S. Thompson's voice, and then on top of that, there's Bruce Robinson's voice, and then there's your voice as well. Did it feel like a natural fit?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, it felt perfect. I mean, I remember when I sent the book to Bruce, and he finally, you know, figured out a way to attack the screenplay and cracked it. The first draft that he sent me, the first draft that he wrote, was the draft that we ended up shooting.
Hey, you made it.
Thought you said you had a TV.
The guy across the alley has a TV. I have binoculars.
Well, they're not dissimilar in their writing styles anyway, but he'd somehow really gotten into the sort of vernacular of Hunter, and it's hilarious. You know, it's one of the funniest things I've ever read.
I mean, to talk about the comedy, I mean, it's a film that is both funny in terms of it has fantastic dialogue. I mean, one of the standout lines for me was, why would the FBI be getting communists high?
Right, yeah.
Then you've got this great slapstick as well, the two of you in the car. I mean, that must have been enjoyable, I guess, as an actor to play such sort of a broad range of humour.
Well, it was certainly a way to get to know Michael Rispoli very quickly.
The front seat's gone.
I've got a brilliant idea.
Try and look normal.
I couldn't keep a straight face most of the time. You know, we were dying. Just for me to be able to get the line out, you know, to say, you know, your tongue is an accusatory giblet, is really, you know, when do you ever get to say good stuff like that? You know?
There's very few moments in life. At dinner parties, it's unlikely.
Yeah, no, it is highly unlikely. Yeah.
Now, all this might sound like some crazed hallucination, but it's all true. I think.
I came out of the movie and I was, I felt like I'd lived it to a certain degree. I felt genuinely like I'd been on a big night out and was incredibly hungover.
Yeah, good.
I mean, that is kind of the spirit of the film to a certain degree.
Most definitely, yeah. There's a sort of a youthful debauchery, a kind of, you know, well, it's finding your voice, isn't it? You know, that's what Hunter was doing.
Love this car.
Did he give it to you?
I wish.
You want a little bet?
That about what?
That you scream before I do.
Did I scream before you do in relation to what?
Well, how fast does it go?
I don't know.
One of the most stunning performances in this film, and it's a film of amazing performances, is Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're everything that's wrong with this insult of a newspaper.
Unanimously agreed.
Why don't you shut it, Moberg?
Moberg, we always knew that Moberg was the sort of flashy role, and you know, it's a fine line. You know, who do you get in there to attack that role, but not take it too far, but not too low. You know, and Ribisi I had worked with on Public Enemies, and I was familiar with some of his work, and I just liked him. So I called Bruce. I said, "Here's the guy. You got to meet him, man. You got to meet Ribisi." And he was instantly Moberg, you know, and he was great. God, he was great.
I don't know whether I was reading too much into it, sitting watching it, but there is a feel that he bears similarities to Hunter himself, especially in Fear and Loathing. He's got almost that character in this film.
Well, if you look at the character of Kemp, who is that sliver of Hunter, that early earnest Hunter, and then you take a look at Giovanni Ribisi and Michael Rispoli, those two characters, the blend of them is basically what Hunter became later in life, yeah.
How does anybody drink 161 miniatures?
Are they not complimentary?
To talk about Hunter S. Thompson, obviously you knew him well. What do you think it is about his work that sort of lends itself to a film?
I mean, aside from the fact that he writes in a kind of a cinematic way, his life was cinematic. I mean, going to dinner with the guy was an adventure, you know. Driving from the airport to his house was an adventure. Everything, there was potential for madness in, you know, every which way, you know. I mean, we were I got locked in a hotel room with him for 5 days once, and, you know, basically I was living inside the book, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, only it was in San Francisco, you know.
In terms of obviously knowing the man quite well, how well do you think the audience gets to know him through seeing a film like The Rum Diary?
Well, The Rum Diary is, as I said, you know, this perfect blend of Bruce Robinson and Hunter, but ultimately, in the end, you know, this was something that Hunter wanted desperately. He wanted to make this into a film, and that's what we set out to do long, long ago. And really, what the film is a love letter to Hunter. You know, it's a sort of recognizing of that period in his life where he was trying to find that outlet, you know, trying to find the voice to the rage. So yeah, the film is dedicated to Hunter, and it was meant as a you know, a love letter. You know.
I mean, you're obviously better placed to answer this, but I'd imagine he'd quite like it, though.
I think he'd love it, you know. I think he'd really, really love it. I think he'd be quoting lines from it, as we all quote from Withnail. He'd be quoting lines from it. I think his initial reaction might have been one of, he would have had to have hit us probably with something sarcastic, just to take us off balance for a minute. But then he would have given us the straight dope, and he would have loved it. Yeah.
It's a great film. It was a pleasure watching it.
I'm so glad you liked it, man. Thanks.
No, I did. You know, as I was saying before, I worried slightly that there was something wrong with seeing it as quite so aspirational, but I did immediately go and drink rum.
Good. That's good.
Sadly, I don't have any writing to show for it yet, but I have the drinking bit done.
That's all right. That's coming.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's coming.
That happens eventually.
Yeah.
I'll just keep drinking.
Yeah.
I'm going to hope for that. Johnny Depp, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure's mine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Cool.